Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Stamping A to Z. I am broadcasting in the wrong way format because I don't know why Facebook wouldn't let me go live in my usual landscape. So I'm not sure how it's going to record the crafting part, but bear with me. I could restart again, but I've tried like 5 times and I could not, the button for go live just wouldn't let me hit it unless it was in this portrait mode. So I don't know if I need to update my phone or what is going on with Facebook, but yeah, I'm going to try and do it this way and we'll see what happens. So today I'm going to be using the Tricks and Treats dies. It is a die that I had my eye on right away. It has treat boxes that you can make with it. So it's perfect for any occasion, not just Halloween. So if you're not a Halloween person, no worries. You don't need to do Halloween stuff. Let me get you, I'm going to turn you around right away since this is a really awkward view. And hopefully I can get it on my project so that you can see it. So bear with me here while I try and turn you around. And I gotta rejig this holder here and not make you too seasick. Now we're very limited in our view. Maybe I'm going to, let's see, sorry, this is not fun. All right, well, I think you can see, I'll just have to make sure I keep myself in a small space. Okay. Let me know if you're watching as usual. I do apologize for this view. This is the September host code since you can't see the September part. Okay, so these are the Tricks and Treats dies. I'm not sure, are they all here? This is out of the mini catalog, which I have buried here. Hang on. So they can be found on page 50 of the mini catalog. As you can see, you can make these little treat boxes. And there's a stamp set to go with it. Now, if you like Halloween and you're going to give away Halloween stuff, great. Even if you don't, like you've got the little boo here in the dies, you could get just the dies. I really sat there and wanted the dies because at first I was like, well, I can make my own treat boxes. And it's true, you can make your own treat boxes. The bonus with this one is it scores and cuts at the same time. So it's just that much quicker. So if you're making a lot of them or you just want to make something quickly, it's just nice to have. You have to cut 2 of these to make the bag, box, whatever you want to call it. It has these 2 funny things, which you might be like, what are those? They are to cut holes in your bags to make, to put a ribbon through or whatever you want. You've got some tags and then you've got this little zigzag so you can make your bag have a design, which I'm going to do. And yeah, so there's lots of stuff you can do. A nice sentiment tag. Lots of things you can do in here without just being Halloween. The first one I'm going to do is Halloween because it is a Halloween set. And then the next 2, since Canadian Thanksgiving is coming up real fast, I have, now there's a very specific way that this fits. I thought I would do some Thanksgiving because I like to put treats at my guests' seats or even use them as, like, put their names if there's name seating. So this is a great way to give your guests little treats for the end of the night, like maybe a little chocolate or something. So actually, before we get started on that, before I forget, if I can find my sheets here. All right, I wanted to remind you about the specialty designer series paper that is on our online exclusives. Those were released a bit ago. They are available online. If you didn't catch them, I showed a few of them last week. We've got our kit, a Christmas kit that was released. Last week, they, what do you call it? The clearance rack was they added to the clearance rack. How about that? So there's lots of new stuff in the clearance rack, really good deals. Take a look at that on my online store. You can't see it. It says lindagibbs.stampinup.net if you don't know. Reminder that we have World Card Making Day coming up October 7th. It is a free event that Stampin' Up! Is hosting. You can register for it online. They will be using these 3 bundles. You don't have to have them all to join. You can make your own stuff. If you do purchase one of the bundles, I will send you through my host code. I will send you the kit to make the cards that they're making. So there's that. There's something exciting, and I don't know if I should tell you yet. I think I should because it's next week. So starting October 3rd, Stampin' Up! Is celebrating their 35 years. I was just at a 35-year event last weekend, hosted by my upline. It was amazing. We had Sarah Douglas there, who is our CEO. It was super fun. We got to do lots of crafting and presentations and swaps, and I'll have to show you the swaps I got because they're super nice. So in celebration of 35 years, I get off topic. They are going to be offering to us our starter kits, which is to join. You can either do 35% off the cost of your starter kit, or you can get 35% more product with your starter kit. So either you pay the same price as usual and get more product, or you pay 35% off the cost of the starter kit and choose the same amount of product. So our starter kit is $135. So here, if you want to know more details, the 35% off, you're going to be paying $87.75, but still getting $165 worth of product. If you want the 35% more, you would spend your $135 and you would get $222.75 worth of product. If you live in Alberta, there is no tax and no shipping. If you live elsewhere in Canada, there is the extra shipping because we only have GST here, so there's no GST. And then you don't have to pay for shipping for that. So it's a really, really good time to join. I would love for you to join my team. All right. That's the business side of things. Let's have some fun. Okay, so the first one, like I said, is going to be a Halloween themed box. So I've got, oh, you're seeing everything. Okay, I've taken this paper, which I'm going to use. It is from the, hang on, let me set all this other stuff aside here. Okay, it is from the Them Bones Designer Series paper, which I think is the only Halloween Designer Series paper we have this year. I believe there's only one. There's these nice pieces that you can do the cut aparts and have card fronts or just scrapbook, whatever, picture backgrounds. Let me just pull this all out so you can see. I can't remember if I showed you guys this one yet or not. So there's the Boo and Eek and the little bones. So this goes with that bones suite, which is super cute. Lots of really nice patterns. So you can see you could make bags out of, and this is where These ones are little bats. At first I thought it was just herringbone, and then I realized there's actual bats. There's little faces on them. And then the stripes and some more bats. So, whoops. You could have lots of fun with Halloween stuff. I don't give Halloween cards per se, but I would like to use this for scrapbooking, and I do like to give to friends if I see them. So it's nice to have like little things ready to go. All right, so first thing we need to do is to cut out our pieces. Now, I don't know how this is gonna work with this kind of a view. I'm gonna try here. All right, so then we're gonna take our gift, what do they call it? I don't even know what they call it. So I'm gonna run it through twice. Now you could cut it. The one thing I'm gonna say, and I don't think this is, it's not approved necessarily by Stampin' Up. They always say to cut only one piece, but with Designer Series paper, it's thinner than our cardstock. So you could stack 2 Designer Series paper together and just run it through twice to get the pattern. I'm not going to cut it, and you will see why. I will do it on another piece so you will see the Designer Series paper. This is a very patterned paper. So I kind of want to semi-match it up, otherwise my bag will look funny. And I don't know if it was just a fluke, but somehow I managed to do it in my sample. So here we've got one. Now what I did to then match it up was, so you can see it's kind of like that. I'm going to turn this around, and it ended up so that, so if you do it kind of back to back, somehow it ends up kind of matching up. So I want, you know, you want to have about yay much of this showing, right? So about like that. Now I'm not going to worry about this way as much. So for some reason, turning it upside down makes it line up. Helps it line up. I don't know, you could also pull it down further, but then you're just wasting a bit more paper. It just seems to work this way. So if you have a pattern and you want it to kind of match up, so you can see here now when I line it up, it is going to kind of match between the two, which was kind of the goal. So that is, that's the bag. Then I'm going to take, actually I'll do that after. Okay. We'll use the magic of television after this for the rest. All right, so we've got our bag here. You want to make sure that you, I don't know if you can see the score lines. It's kind of hard to see on this textured paper. I didn't think of that. I should have done one on some plain paper so you could see. But there are score lines, which make it easy. Just get all your score lines. Do that for both. I like to do it first, so then it's all there, and I know I've, oops, what did I do here? That doesn't quite look. That's, okay, so you've got all your lines. Then these two smaller tabs with the angles on them, those are the ones that you're gonna stick on the insides. So you can put your turn tape down. You can use glue. You just have to hold it for those 10-20 seconds while it kind of holds. It does make it easier to kind of shift it if you're worried about it being crooked or whatever. But I just, whatever your preference is, works. Both work. I wouldn't use, you can use the Stampin' Seal Plus. I would not use just the Stampin' Seal, because if you're putting stuff in, you don't want it to fall apart as people are digging in to get their treats out. Okay. And then we'll take this one off. And then you can just, oh yeah. Then you should be able to just fold it over and it'll be all lined up. And then you've got your bottom of your box, and you're going to want to put some more tape or glue, whichever. Making this look harder than it is. Okay. You always want to make sure your turn tape is sitting all the way down, because then when you go to pull up the white piece, it's much easier. Otherwise it might pull all of the tape as well. So you just want to make sure your bag or box is square, and then push that together. Again, if you use glue, you've got a bit of leeway and you can kind of shift it and get it just right. But now we've got our bag slash box. Oh, I did it again. I forgot to run it through. I wanted to show you guys with these pieces. So before you assemble, you would run this through and it would cut 2 perfect holes. And if you put your bag together like flat and run it through together, then your holes will be in the exact same spot, all lined up and pretty. Now there's another way you can use these if you do forget like I did. You can put your, I'm gonna put it on this blue so I kind of have a reference for the other side. And then you can just, you could poke a hole, you can make it, I can kind of see it, it's really hard to see. And then if you just have a hole punch, you come in and punch your holes. And then you would do the same thing on the other side. So if you remember before you assemble your box, you can punch them with the dies, which makes it easy. You could also, you can run it through when you're running this through. You can put it in and you can just put this here and it'll cut it all at once. So you don't even have to run it through twice. I just forgot. All right. Next, we are going to, so the stamps, which I have not showed you yet, are over here. Well, I guess I showed you it in the catalog. So these are the stamps. So you have like the cute Frankenstein. I don't remember. Is this the Count maybe? I can't remember. Anyways, you can do their faces. You can have little bats, stars, whatever. I'm just going to use the Trick or Treat. This little eek fits perfectly into the tags here. So you can cut out a tag with eek on it, or you can put other stuff on the tag if you're not doing Halloween. So I've got my Trick or Treat, and I'm going to use white embossing powder, but I don't know if it's because my white embossing powder is old. I do have newer stuff, so I should test it. But I wanted to show you a trick. If you really want your white to be nice and white, first of all, you want to make sure that you use your embossing body and get all that static off so the powder doesn't stick to places you don't want it to. Then, instead of using the Versamark, you can use your Whisper White ink pad, if you have one, and I think I need to re-ink mine, but looks like, oh, it's dry. It's quite dry. I don't know if this will work. Anyways, assume it's, we'll see if this works. So with this pigment ink, it takes longer to dry than our water-based ink. So you can use it to stick your embossing powder just like with Versamark, but it already has that white background. So it'll hopefully be more white than just using Versamark and having to get all the white over the black. Let's just try this. It works a lot better. Yeah, see, it works a lot better when it's inked. I'm not gonna waste your time, but assuming it's inked, it does work really well. If you have enough ink on your stamp, I'll do this top part that got a little more powder to it. Okay, so the tea worked quite well. Let me, actually it doesn't even show because of, my trick doesn't show because my pad is so dry, but it does give you an extra white additional to your powder. So if you're really wanting it to be white, that's a good way to do it, assuming your ink pad is inky. All right, so then I want to cut this out using this little label that fits perfectly through the magic of television. We have our treat there. And then, again, I'm not even gonna, we've got some pumpkin pie and Whisper White. Run that through, and we end up with these pieces here. Ta-da! Isn't that magic? All right, so now before I glue these down, you want this bottom piece. So the candy corn is usually white, orange, yellow, I believe. So I'll just take this little piece and a little brush and some Daffodil Delight, I think is the closest to the yellow. You could use a piece of Daffodil Delight if you wanted it solid. Kind of like the orange solid, and then you've got your candy corn. Isn't that cute? See, these dies have also, and I'm sure those of you that are into punch art, I'm sure you can create all sorts of cool stuff other than a candy corn, non-Halloween specific. And then I used textured ribbon. I believe it's the copper, my goodness, copper clay ribbon that I used. And then I just put this together here like so. And then we have our finished bag here. I didn't have any candy corn, so I couldn't fill it up. You could fill it with the, what do you call it? Oh my goodness, my words are gone. The pieces of paper, the crinkled paper kind of thing that you could put inside, or you can use tissue paper, whatever you want. You could also use, so we're limited in our cellophane plastic bags. So if you want something to put inside like this, you can take one of our clear medium envelopes and cut it, and then like just cut this top part off and stick it inside. Or I will show you other options on the other bags, but that's just one of the options you can do. So this would be super cute to give to your friends, or if you're having a party or whatever, a little treat. Fill it with, you can fill it with candy corn, you can fill it with little mini chocolates, a little bit of everything. I don't have any Halloween candy yet, so I had nothing to put in there yet. Next, we're going to move on to just fall theme, so more of a Thanksgiving theme. And the first one we're going to do is, we're going to use, so I believe it was back in stock. I haven't checked if it's back out again. This is the beautiful All About Autumn specialty paper. It is gorgeous. I showed this last week, I think. Like just beautiful imagery. And then on the other side, it has the copper papers, which are just gorgeous. So we're using these. You can use cardstock for your bags. I just happened to, I wanted to use this paper. You could, if you want a stiffer bag or box, you can use your cardstock and then just cut out pieces of paper to stick on inside. That's an option as well. Okay, so this is the paper I am using. You want to use a paper for this one that you want to see flipped over, because I will show you why. So we're gonna bring in our big boss here again and our treat bag. And I want to kind of make sure I'm facing the right way. If your pattern on the other side has a direction or this one has a direction, make sure you've got it the correct way. I've got 2 pieces here. So like I said, you'll see how it does with 2. Okay. Just get that through. Now you want to run it through twice. I got to the end. And I'm going to go back just to make sure the score marks are there all the way on the second piece as well as the first piece. Okay. Oh, I shouldn't have put my big boss away because I need it. I'm going to take our little zigzag here. And I'm going to just cut it across the top to make a zigzag. Okay, so the top of the bag. If you want to make your bag shorter, you can go even shorter. If you want just the zigzag sticking up, I'm going to fold mine over though. So mine's already going to get smaller. You will see. Oh, and I did exactly what I was going to tell you not to do. I was going to say, make sure you fold your bag before you run it through with the zigzag so that your score lines, just in case your score lines flatten out, but they seem to be okay for now. So just if you want to make it easier on yourself, it is easier to have done your little bit of folding before you run it through again, and that way your lines are more clear. So it just depends on what your preference is. Okay. Those. That one. And that one. All right. So we've got our box here, but now I said I was going to flip it over so that you can see the leaves. So we're going to pull out our cutter / scorer, and I'm going to score it. I'm going to line up my, or what it could do is I can line it up at the 4. And it's just under an inch, and we'll go like that. And then we know that we want this one at 4 as well, so it's all in the same spot. Okay. And then we can just go like this and like this, and we have, isn't that cute, the little leaves? Oh, I love that. Okay, so then we are going to put some tear and tape on our edges again. So here I'm going to hold down the fold, and here too again. Sorry, I keep forgetting that my camera is, well, I guess I have more this way because I do tend to go off the screen sometimes. So in some ways, it could work in my favor. All right, then you may want to do this beforehand. I always forget. I'm just going to put a bit of adhesive there to hold it down. I'm not going to worry about this middle part. It can be up a little bit. All right, then you just want to make sure you've got that fold in there. Okay. And then you can put your box together, but again, you might want to put your turn tape on before you put your box together, just to make your life a little bit easier, you know. Why make it harder than it needs to be? And then same thing as before. Yeah. Line that up. And then you should be able to just fold it over. And then it's all nicely lined up. And you've got a cute edge of leaves there. And just pull off. That's not quite square. Okay. Just push it down. And then you've got your smaller treat box. You can see if I pull out the Halloween one, now it's shorter, right? It's smaller. So you could make it even shorter or however you want to go. Now you know how to adjust that. Oh, and I forgot to grab, I don't think this paper's big enough. Nope. 1 second, please. Oh, okay. Forgot to grab a piece. And then I've got a thank you, oops, which is from the Circle Sayings, and I'm going to use the circle punch that goes with the Circle Sayings, which is 2 3/8 of an inch. But first, I'm going to stamp my thank you. With Moody Mauve, which is the color that's used in here. And then I'm going to put it off to the side like so, because I'm going to add some leaves to it. So we have our leaves from the Autumn Leaves dies, which I used last week when we reused those baby wipes. And again, through the magic of television, I've got some leaves here. I can't remember which colors I decided on. This is a different color scheme than the sample. I think it's the brown. I would like the brown. Maybe the yellow. Or maybe we go, oh, there we go. Yeah, that's the way we like it. All right, so here, oops, I was off screen. Sorry, guys. Used to having more space. Hopefully it's actually, well, it must be, you guys are just quiet today. So I don't see any comments. Hopefully they're still coming through. Okay, so this is the box. I did go down a bit more. I scored it at 1 inch on this one, so it is a bit smaller. I've put some tea bags and some chocolates in here, so a great kind of table place thing, or if you're going for Thanksgiving to someone's house, it's a great little hostess gift you can bring. Now this, I have used our envelopes, and I'll show you here. So what I did, was I took my envelope and I put it inside. I'm gonna watch those scalloped edges, as they like to catch the bag, like right here. Okay, and then you're gonna push it all the way down. Like so. So it kind of takes the shape of the box, but then you need to just take these corners and stick them in. So all I used was a little glue dot. You might want to use more than one. It's up to you. So if you really want it flat, or you could use some tear and tape. I'm not sure what the best would be. Anyways, I wonder if you could do it on the inside. So just like that, and then you want the nice side to be where the flap is, and then I just pushed this in and then stuck it over it like so. And you already have the sticky, so it stays. So that is your next box. And I'm going to put these in here so I don't lose them. All right. Okay. Last but not least is I always save the best for last, right? The wow factor one. Okay, so next up we have 2 more pieces of that beautiful paper. Now the books, I'm not so sure about the books. This is like what they use in the kids' school photos, but I do like this. So we're gonna use this side. We're gonna cut our treat bag again, because I didn't use the magic of television. I only used it for a bit of a few things, because I wanted you guys to see the bag at work. All right, I would put the hole punch to show you, except for you will see this next bag does not have holes in it. So just a reminder, if you wanted holes, put your little 2-hole die in there while you're running it through. Okay, and then we've got our treat bag again. We're going to keep it full size this time. But you'll see it looks quite different than the first one. So the other thing you can do to adjust the size of these boxes is you can adjust the width. So on this one, we adjusted the height. And then on this next one, we're going to adjust the width. So we're going to make a skinnier box. And in order to do that, we're going to leave our flap, because that's okay. Obviously, you can't go skinnier than the flap unless you want to have to cut your flap down a bit, which would make it pretty difficult to put together. So we're going to cut the larger flap size. I don't know if you can see, hopefully you can see that score line there. It's hard to see with that foiling. But I'm going to come down here and I'm going to cut it out. Okay, so I've cut off about a 1/2 inch there. So I want to cut off about a 1/2 inch here. So it would be 4.5, but we don't have to 4.5. So we are going to eyeball it and hope that it is about right. You know what? I'm just going to mark it, because if it is too big, you will see I had to trim mine down because it was wider at the bottom, I think, than on my side. If one's wider, it just doesn't work that good. All right, So we've got 1/2 inch off there. And then we've got our new skinnier treat bag, box, whatever you want to call it. So once again, you're going to do your flaps, your score lines. Ooh. Oh, it must have been crooked. Oh, it is crooked. I thought I went off the score line, but I'm just crooked on the pattern. That's all. Okay, so then we come back with our tear and taper glue. Whatever works for you. Okay, and then we'll put one on the inside here. And because it is so much narrower, make sure you put your, like on the first one I did, I put the tear and tape after, and that would, it gets really difficult when it's that much skinnier. So try and remember to put your tear and tape on or glue or whatever before. Then we're gonna stick that together, if I can see the score line here. Okay, same thing again. Peel it. Okay, got that together. And now, because I cut this quite a bit smaller than the other part, my tear and tape is going to be sticky on the inside. But that's, you know what, that's not a bad thing actually, because I'm going to put my cellophane bag on the inside, and so it'll stick the bag down. So there we go. And then we've got our box. So you can see it's about half of the original one. So you could make it 3/4, you can make it whatever. You could cut off 1/4 inch, or I don't think you'd want to go skinnier than this. It's a pretty good size. All right, then we've got our pretty peacock. Maybe I should have changed, well, whatever. And then I've got my leaf, which goes with the leaves dies, the autumn leaves. That's part of that suite. And I'm going to take Pretty Peacock on Pretty Peacock. And this is so pretty. Look at how that stamps. Isn't that cool? And then we can just stamp this here. And then you've got a nice leaf pattern, and then you've got a outline leaf that you can cut it out with, and through the magic of television, voila, is our leaf. And then I kind of cheated. We don't have any right now, but I had some copper foil, so I used this piece on some copper foil. If you've got some in your stash, I suggest you dig it out for this to go with this paper. We also have this distressed copper something. This is in the mini catalog, so you can use that as well. You could cut this out of this as well, and then I cut a couple leaves out of that. And so I've got my leaves, and then we want a sentiment, or you could do a tag. You could use the tag dies and hang a tag, but here I'm gonna stamp I'm thankful, and that's from the leaves, the autumn leaves. And I'm using the copper clay. I don't know why I can't remember that. All right, so there's my copper clay, and the autumn leaves dies happens to have a couple sentiments, and it's so it cuts out, it fits perfectly because, you know, they all match together. That's what Stampin' Up! Does. So then here's the cutout version. And then once again, take, ooh, piece of scrap here. And I've got the I'm Thankful, and I've got my little blender brush and my copper clay. And I'm just gonna kind of come around on the edges here. Sorry, I hear my pup in the background moaning and groaning. She's a very vocal sleeper. Life is rough. Okay, so then when you're happy with that, you've got the I'm Thankful. So you know what? I probably should have changed this up because I used a different color bag for my last one. You could do Pretty Peacock there if you want it to pop, or even Moody Mauve would be nice. Anyways, then I put adhesive on the back of my foil to make my life easier. And then I'm just going to stick it on to my leaf here, like so. Isn't that pretty? And then you've got your matching foiled distressed leaves, and then you want to stick it all together. Like so. And then you've got the finished one here. So this is where I used the vanilla paper. I think it had books on the inside too. Yeah, just a different. And then I took, so this is, it looks like it fits, but it doesn't. I've used the 6x8 cellophane bag because that is the size that we have in our annual catalog. And what I did, whoo, I'm losing all my pieces. Oh, I'll get those later. So what I did was I folded it almost in half, and then I stuck it in here so that it fits. Okay, then I only took one side and I filled it with, this one has some hot chocolate and some coffee. You can put anything you want in there. So once it's got stuff in there, I mean, obviously this splits a part of it. So when you squeeze it with your ribbon, this beautiful copper ribbon, which is part of the Autumn Leaves suite, so you can see how it's turned here. So this is the back side, but you can't really tell that it's not fitting unless you flip it over. And you could stick this down with a piece of tear and tape or some adhesive, but really it's kind of the look of it, like it, you would never know to look at it. So that is how I fudged, I guess, that one. So if you're wondering where the bag is from, it's from the annual catalog, and you just need to fold it, and you can see it did stick a little bit, which is nice. So then you can put your stuff in and go from there. So yeah, so those are the treat bags from the Tricks and Treats dies. Love, love, love them. Makes for really nice, quick and easy treats for all your friends. So once again, we've got our Halloween We've got our Thanksgiving. So this one you could put kind of on top of a plate setting at Thanksgiving, or you bring it as a host gift. And again, this one, if you want to stand it up and you had people's names or whatever, again, at the front of the plates, just, it decorates your table. Like it just, you can really go with a theme and go all out, which I love to do. So here you go. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully if you don't have the Tricks and Treats dies and now you want them, you know where to find them. They're in the mini catalog. And don't forget, starting October 3rd is that deal for the starter kit, and you can purchase anything. So you could purchase this as part of your starter kit at the 35% extra or 35% off. So really, really good deal coming up. Don't forget, I will remind you, I believe it is for the entire month of October that the deal will be on. It starts October 3rd. Okay, so Tricks and Treats. We combined it with the beautiful Autumn Leaves Suite and papers. Don't miss out on those papers. They went out of stock quite quickly when the mini catalog first went live. I wouldn't be surprised if they go out again because they're just so pretty. So if you love it, get your hands on them sooner than later. All right, have a great rest of your week, and we will hopefully see you guys next Wednesday. Bye.